All right, team, this week's Intel Report, November 10th. This week is Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day tomorrow. I'm going to talk about that and what it means to me. But a quick overview of what we're going to cover is we're going to go into the mindset of what that means. We're going to go into training, some of the tips that I have about identifying the type of training that you want to seek, some of the gear updates that we're doing with SMR and the brew kit and a couple other things. And then lastly, this is a flow that I want to get into from now on, but I'm going to answer the questions that were on last week's Intel Report. So if there was questions, I'm going to save those till the end and then I'll bring those to the forefront. So if there's anything out there that's confusing or anything else, I can bring some clarity into that as we go into our engage section. That way we can get some clarity and just over communicate that. It's Veterans Day tomorrow, and it's one of those things that for me, it's something that I live with. And I think just understanding the contrast of Veterans Day and what veterans really mean to me is it's easy, I think, to really appreciate the level of work and effort and sacrifice that gets put into the different parts of services that we have in this country. And I think from a faith perspective, we recognize that it means something to sacrifice. It means something to sacrifice for somebody else, for the love of neighbor, for the country, to make this a better place. And I try my best to not take that for granted. And I also feel like because I served, it's easier for me to recognize that. So tomorrow is one of those things where you say to yourself, like, every day is Memorial Day. And in a sense, every day is Veterans Day, because we have these guys out there that have laid the groundwork and been willing to give their lives. You know, not to be confused with Memorial Day, and I know a lot of people contrast that out there with Memorial Day is the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, but that's been made by all of the service members in this country since the start of the wars. Veterans Day is for all of the veterans that have served, that are serving, and ultimately will serve. But it's a thank you to the time, the energy that's been spent on really being willing to lay your life down, or even just lay your life down in the sense of your time and giving up something that was comfortable for you to be able to raise your hand and say, I am going to go serve. I'm going to make this world a better place by doing this job. So I wanted to say thank you for all the veterans that are out there. You know, I really do appreciate every bit of energy that's put into this. You know, some people go into the military to get the GI Bill, and some people go into the military to say, I'm going to be the guy that's willing to sacrifice my life because I don't want evil to come here on the home front, and everything in between. But ultimately, it all matters, and we're all part of that team. I know it's harder to discern, you know, what to do from a veteran perspective, or even if you're thinking about going into the military. But ultimately, if you feel that calling or have felt that calling on your heart to go do something, then that's it. You're the one. You're the one that needs to step up and continue to make a difference. So thank you from our whole team here at Crush Everything and Dynamis. We wanted to just say thank you. You know, we offer a discount on every single purchase for veterans. That always exists. You guys can do that at checkout. That's never gone away and never will go away. And I always try to do things to honor you guys in any way that I can. So don't forget about that. The training that I wanted to discuss this week was about training priorities. Now, last week I talked about the holidays coming up and how everybody really needs to practice a level of awareness, teach a level of awareness to cascade that down. But I know in a sense, I'm talking to a lot of people out there that don't necessarily have much training or have a little bit of training. You know, the guys that are trained, it's like, I'm not really focusing on those guys because I kind of know what to prioritize. But if you're new to training, how do you prioritize where to start? And for me, it comes down to identifying, which is awareness, but identifying the biggest threat. Where is the biggest threat in your life? Where's the biggest threat in your daily routine? Where's the biggest threat to your family? I think it's important to identify that. Like, what is the most common thing that could happen? And are you ready for that? Is it a home invasion? Is it a shakedown out at the gas station? Is it somebody trying to jump in your car? Is it pickpocketing? Is it something where somebody's just bullying you or you're having to stand up for yourself? What is the biggest threat? When you identify the biggest threat, then you need to really start looking at, well, what are the priorities that I need to do to mitigate that risk to myself and to my family? And I would say that is a great place to jump off to say, okay, well, now I'm going to do this type of training. You know, if you are in a foreign country where you're walking on the road, you don't have the opportunity to carry a gun legally, and you don't have the opportunity to use weapons, well, then you really need to rely on your hands, right? We have a lot of situations like that. Say if you're a TSA agent, well, you are in TSA, you don't have the opportunity to carry on a daily basis. Doesn't mean I don't think you should go get a CCW, but it also begs the question, like, you're most likely going to have to use your hands. So that would lead me to believe like that's a place to get started. And it's like any of these other threats. It's important to identify what that threat is and then be able to mitigate it with some type of a training. Is it hand-to-hand? What type of hand-to-hand is it? Is it blade work? Is it pistol? Is it carbine? Is it home defense? What is the level of training that you want to accomplish? Now, we could get into a whole nother video about how to identify that, but I think it's just bringing a level of awareness to you guys. The next part to that is, where is your biggest weakness? Do you know how to box really well so you can kind of move your body and throw hands, but you have no ability to understand how to deploy a firearm? Is that a weakness of yours? Is a home invasion a possibility? Of course, to all of us it is, because it's usually a random attack. But is that something that you should be prepared for? And you know, me personally, I'm the provider, I'm the protector. I need to be able to have some level of basic knowledge. So with the biggest threat and identifying where to start in those priorities, now you identify what's your biggest weakness. Once you have your biggest weakness, you can kind of start creating that calculation of where am I deducing down to start for training? Is it pistol work? Is it concealed pistol? Or should I start in the jiu-jitsu gym? Now let's talk about the third aspect of identifying training for you or for whoever is looking to level up here and become an asset. The third aspect is accessibility, the ease of being able to go train. If you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, but the gym is an hour and a half away and it's really expensive and out of your budget, that might not be the best option. Where there's a Muay Thai gym 20 minutes away and it's half the cost. You have to prioritize these things in order for you to understand where's the biggest threat, how does that apply to where I want to start, where's my biggest weakness, and what is accessible. With those three things, you can pretty much identify where it is that you're going to level up the most. You're going to have an area that you jump into for training. Maybe it's understanding how to handle firearms, or it's getting on the mat to do Muay Thai or sometimes striking or combatives. You're going to all of a sudden ramp up, even if you just do it once a week, twice a week, 2 times a month. You're going to ramp up your understanding and your awareness just by engaging and learn through that process that you might be able to take somewhere else to be able to apply. And maybe you adapt from there. You start Muay Thai and you're like, you know what, this is a good base, but I feel like I'm really lacking in firearms training. Then you go seek some firearms training, and oftentimes it leads to great conversations. You get on the mat for Muay Thai and you end up talking to another guy that has a similar level of thinking and he's already training on the range. You talk to him and then you make a buddy. I wanted to talk about that because I think it's important. A lot of people out there struggle with training and they end up doing nothing because you overcomplicate it and you try to find this perfect scenario. These three things are the best way to start. So remember, if you want to level up your training, what is the biggest threat? What's your biggest weakness? And what's accessible? And how do you get started? That's the easiest way to break that down. So hopefully you guys are training that. Again, remember, we've got a couple of modules online. Even just doing these modules isn't to say that that's where your priority is, you know, blade, pistol, awareness, but it's going to give you an idea of where to start and get you to think the right way so you can apply these other training methodologies to your life. Let's move to equipment. Still working on the SMR. The SMR, I can actually find it this time because I knew where I put it before I started the video. The SMR is on its way. We are doing the finishing processing of this with all the edges and the coating and everything we're trying to get right, but I am super pumped to get this back. We have a lot of people signed up for this, for the out of stock notification. So all I'm saying is just be ready to purchase one. We even lowered the cost because we were able to make it more economical through the processes that we did. You know, we are going all in on this blade because it's one that we're going to keep for a long time. But we're going to be releasing them in small batches. So just make sure that you're ready to go. This is the new SMR-H. with the hollow grind. It's going to be sharper than ever on both sides with the state-of-the-art coating and the MagnaCut steel combination. And ultimately, I think that this is going to be the best SMR combo that we've ever released. So get ready for that. It's coming here soon. And just make sure you're on the newsletter so you get those drop notifications. And if you want it even faster, sign up for text messages because we're going to send it right to your phone. Anytime we launch a new product, it's always going to go right to your phone. Real quick, wanted to talk about this. You know, all my Crush Everything members out there, is the EDC Brew Kit. These things have been flying off the shelf and they are not going to last through the holidays. I know they won't. I made these because I knew that this season, these were gonna make great gifts for people. It's a great thing to gift somebody that loves coffee or tea, that wants to travel and be a nomad and be out there, has everything that you possibly need in here to brew your coffee or tea. It's been very useful. We've been getting a lot of great feedback. You know, obviously if you guys are following edcbrew.com or EDC Coffee and Tea on Instagram, we even just set up a page for EDC Brew Kit Adventures because people are just sending us some great photos. So if you're thinking about this kit, I would not hesitate to be able to purchase one now, because by the time we get more in, it's probably not going to be till later in the year or maybe even early next year. So if this has even been a thought, I wouldn't hesitate any longer. We've got a lot of other products. We've got another blade that we're working on that's probably going to be December / into the new year that I'm really excited to tease to you guys at some point. We're not there yet, but we are working on other blades that I think you guys are just going to absolutely love. Okay, so Black Friday's coming up. I said that last week. You know, obviously we're going to run our best deals of the year. So make sure you're signed up for those notifications because there are things that will go out of stock. There's going to be limited runs of stuff, and we're going to start releasing that to you guys here shortly. You guys will get comms updates on what's going on. You know, we usually do 2 big sales of the year, one on the 4th of July and one for Black Friday, and this is our biggest one, so get ready. If you've thought about getting anything, now's the time to do it. It always is the best portion of the year. Okay. No updates really on EDC. That's been crushing away still. Just super pumped to be able to have that. I've been out of town for a little bit, so I apologize if there's any lack in comms. We've got a bunch of customer service things coming in, so thank you for your patience on all that stuff. Even on Dynamis, you know, if I haven't got back to it yet, you know, I am trying to sift my way through that stuff. I said I would answer the questions. So 2 main questions that I got. I answered everything else on here, but 2 main questions that I thought would be helpful to you guys is one, somebody asks if we have an X account, and yes, we do. For Dynamis Alliance, we have an X account, so you can go check that out. I know the guy that's helping us run our social media right now is posting on there still. And another question was, a video breakdown of the tea would be great. Which ones I drink and when and why. I think that's a great idea. I've been wanting to do that for a while, actually. You know, why I do what I do with the tea and why I fuel my body the way that I do. And even just the nuances between the different tea selections. You know, that's just fun for me to do. I'm really passionate about it, so I do want to share that with you guys. And we are working on some of those videos for EDC Coffee and Tea. That way it helps you guys. But the gift packs too, the sampler packs, I am working on those. That's one of the other questions on here. I think I did mention that before, but we are going to try to put some sample packs together for you guys out there that have been wanting to try the coffee and the tea or the combination of the 2. I think that's going to help get people some samples. That way you're not committing to a whole bag. And I totally understand. I would want to do the same thing. So I want to be able to get that for you guys. And I believe that was it from the questions perspective. Let's see if I missed anything. Just a couple other comments out there. Appreciate the support, guys. So thank you. That's it. That wraps up this Intel report. Let's see where we're at. 13 minutes. It's usually around the time that it takes us to get there. But be aware this season, guys. Thank you for everything that you continue to do for us, all the energy that you continue to give us. And really, I'm humbled every single week from the support that we get here. And I just can't thank you enough. Veterans Day, to all those that have served, thank you. It's been an honor to work with veterans. It's been an honor to be able to serve and get to know other veterans out there. You know, they do need our support. A lot of guys step up and sacrifice a lot in their families, in their friendships, in their way of life. You know, the military is not perfect by any means. There's a lot of challenges and a lot of struggles there. But I know for me, it was in my heart. You know, I felt the desire to go in and want to do something more, to be a part of something bigger, to serve my country, to protect freedom. You know, all those elements kind of came in when I was a young child, and I think that a lot of people share that sentiment, which is a good thing. I think we need to find a way to continue to support that, to make it more honorable, to make the values and the integrity in the military continue to increase, And of course, we do that by raising good children, good human beings that are going to go out there and do that for us. So we can serve the church, we can serve the military, we can serve our country and be proud of what we're doing. God bless you guys. And as always, appreciate everything. Peace.